Ian speaking.
Hello Ian, it's Jim Fisk.
Hello.
Hello mate. A, I'm off sick.
Right.
And B, what was the question? Oh yeah, did you get a response? You told me to speak to you today if I hadn't had, or you hadn't had a response about the tribunal money.
Hang on a minute, did we get the mail today?
No, I didn't bring any up. No, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know yet because nobody's brought the mail up yet. I'll go and have a look. We might have got some mail back today.
Alright, sure. Are you going to give us a ring back?
I'll be in the box office downstairs and nobody's picked it up, so I'll go down and get it.
Yeah, will you give us a ring back? Can you...
I'll give you a ring back if I haven't, if I have or if I haven't.
Okay,
I'll let you know either way.
Yeah, alright, cheers.
Yeah,
thanks Ian.
What are you off for this weekend?
Stress and depression. Stress and depression.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen the report from that Andy Brown. Obviously, you know, well, not the report, but the witness statements.
Oh, well, what, the managers and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very good.
No.
You know, how can I work with these people any more long as, you know?
Well, yeah, if they're all sort of coming out with the same story.
Yeah, they're all clubbing together, it's the same old thing, you know. I've just had Pat Parsons on the phone asking me, you know, all concerned allegedly about my mental health and that, you know, and yet, given what's in those things, he's partly to do with it. Yeah. And as you said, Andy Brown has never called you in to ask you any questions, even though, you know, you're a witness to the fact that I came and spoke to you, aren't you, about Tony Salmon and those conversations.
Yeah.
You know, do you?
They've never even got in touch with me on that.
Do you remember when I came and saw you about that? Did you ask them to sort of take me out of that environment or not? Because I was.
No, I didn't. I said to you, do you want me to have a word?
Yeah, no, I know.
You said no.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak to him at the time, no. But I did say what I was driving at was that if you remember, and I don't know if you do, but in the last week before I left Norwich, I was moved downstairs without any explanation.
Yeah.
Do you remember that or not?
No, I don't. No,
okay.
I thought you were still on the letters that week.
Sorry?
I thought you were actually still on the letters that week.
No, I know I was on the letters up until the day that Paul Hayes gave me that letter saying I had to see Robert Bett.
Yeah.
But the week, at least 1 week before I left, I was downstairs on the flats. They told me to go downstairs, so you know, that was what I was doing prior to leaving. I wasn't up. You know, I mean, I didn't know why I was moved.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wasn't averse to it because by that time the situation with Salmon's conversations had got so incessant, I guess is the word, you know.
Well, maybe they, I don't know, because maybe they might have moved you down there to get you out of his way.
Well, this is the point I'm making. This is the point I'm making because, you know, when I came back, Pat Parsons said, I thought they were only friendly conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah? He denied any knowledge that there was anything wrong between me and Tony Salmon.
Yeah.
And yet I was moved from upstairs to the ground floor with no explanation of why. Right. You know, I'd been up there for, well, as long as the letters have been up there, a year or two. Yeah. You know, and then all of a sudden they've moved me downstairs. Like I say, I can't remember whether there was an incident, or whether I spoke to Pat Parsons or Paul Hayes about it, you know, but they're both saying the same thing.
I don't know, so I remember you speaking to me about it.
Yeah.
He was coming up to you and you said, do you want me to have a word with him? And you said no.
That's right.
For the time being, so I did.
Yeah.
And then, so unless you did have a word with Paul or Pat then and they moved you down to
well,
I don't know.
I think I must have done, or else it was Tony Salmon or one of those managers upstairs that didn't want me up there, but I can't remember. I just thought I'd ask you if you could remember me being moved downstairs and whether, you know, that was for that. But no. Anyway, that's by the by. Yeah, so I'm off.
All right, then.
I'm off right now. I've just spoken to the union solicitors to see whether they're going to take a case. Still no answer. You know. So I end up having to do this on my own. I've had Andy Brown's thing back, and when I read through all the statements, a lot of them are bollocks, especially Paul Browning's one. He's denied all knowledge of that email. Yeah?
Well, it must be there somewhere.
Yeah, well, John O'Shea...
You
know, I know I'm not supposed to discuss this, but you're my union rep, and I think I'm allowed to discuss it with you, am I not?
Well, it's up to you, yeah.
Well,
obviously, it doesn't go any further than me. But
that's what I mean, you know. John O'Shea's supplied some emails. That's not in there. I can't think that Paul Browning made that shit up. You know?
Is that about him coming to see him? Him going down to see him?
No, about when he said that he was going to send John an email requesting that I came back to Norwich,
right.
and basically, what was it? John basically said there were no vacancies. But what's his name? Paul Browning reckoned that he sent this email with loads of blank spaces in it for Paul to draw his own conclusions. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Now I've seen what they claim is that email, and there's no blank spaces in it. So whether they've edited it, I don't know. You know, we have an IT department, don't we? You know.
Yeah. Well, whether they edited it or Paul Browning was exaggerating, you don't know. That's the trouble.
I can't think that he had any reason to be exaggerating myself, but he's certainly not telling the truth in his statement. Anyway, so I wrote to Andy Brown, and I requested, after reading that lot, that he meet me at the house this week, a meeting that I intended to record, while I showed him evidence that refutes these statements. And he's just written back and he said, why do you wish for a further meeting as opposed to commenting in writing? Why do you consider the proposed meeting should be at your home rather than on Royal Mail Group premises? Why do you wish to record the interview? I will consider any answers you make to the above and respond accordingly. The problem is, long as they're reading those statements, they're just hanging me out to dry. They're doing what I always said they would, right? Because from the time Tim Kye told me to put in this fucking complaint at the Stage 3 meeting when Dennis was there, I've always thought that the reason they're doing that is so they can pursue a malicious complaint against me. You know, say that I've made a malicious complaint, and John O'Shea is actually calling for that. So
or they're just trying to fob you off all the time until you get fed up with it.
No,
there's that possibility as well.
I think from the notes that Andy Brown sent through from that meeting that he's leaving it, that what they're doing is paving the way to bring a case against me. I've always thought they were going to do that anyway. I think that the notes that I've got from the witnesses, allegedly in this case, also do that. And the fact that he never even bothered to get in touch with you, I think just supports it. You know, he's not looking to get appropriate evidence from people that have got the information. I don't think he's just...
Well, yeah, if he's got names to talk to people, he should talk to everybody on that list, shouldn't he?
Yeah, including you, perhaps Dennis.
Yeah.
I mean, Dennis knew that John O'Shea blocked me, didn't he? You know, you know that, but he hasn't spoken to either of you about it. What was I going to say?
Do you want me to phone Dennis up and see if I can get him to give you a ring?
You can do, yeah. I mean,
back this week, so he might be busy. I don't know, but I'll give him a ring anyway. I'll give him a shout and just tell him.
Yeah, I would say I'm in a bit of trouble here, you know, because like I say, I've got no lawyer to take the case forward. There's so much paperwork. You know, and it's coming from a lot of angles. How can I go to work? I'm not allowed to discuss the issue with any of my colleagues.
No.
You know, and I can't discuss it with any of the people that have made the statements either. So how can I can't talk about anything else because there's nothing else on my mind. So if I have to work and I can't speak, I'm not going to make it through a day. You know.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not at work today, you know, because I'm just not in any state to work. You know, and here's Pat Parsons and Paul Hayes coming up with this stuff, you know. Anyway, the overall feeling I've got from what I've seen is that Andy Brown is going to make, he's going to find against me.
Yeah.
And then they're going to pursue a claim of, like, vexatious complaint, you know. But as I say, that's what I've been expecting all the time. I just think it's a fucking shame that they've got this opportunity to sort this matter out and deal with the people responsible, and they're not prepared to do it, you know.
Wow.
In the same way that I've offered him the opportunity to come to my fucking home and hear and see the evidence, I'm certainly not going to bring it onto Royal Mail premises. And whilst
I can't see why he wouldn't go there. I mean, 'cause Tim Kye did, didn't he?
yeah, and Simon Stepney, and Simon Stepney and Paul Hollowell, you know. I'm not saying he won't come here, but I would say that from what I can see of his response, that he's trying to get me to put something in writing that's going to incriminate me, you know. The fact is, at the end of the day, A, I can't remember most of what was said in that meeting the last time, but I know it didn't comply with the notes he sent me. B, if we go to a tribunal, I want my evidence, you know. That's my reason for wanting to record it, you know. I think it's obvious. I've told him why I want the meeting, and I said there's so many mistakes, or not mistakes,
Omissions.
not even omissions, just untruths really in these statements. You know that I can't sit here and correct them all. I really can't, you know. He's given me 5 days to get it back to him. But, yeah, you're asking way too much. Like I say, I've got dyslexia and dyspraxia.
Yeah.
I'm only just being able to sort of sift through it and see what a crock of shit it is. I think the only way... he'll have to do what he does, you know.
Yeah.
He's basically refusing the opportunity to come here and get that evidence, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's what it sounds like to me, anyway.
Yeah.
He's making excuses not to come. He's saying, "Why have I got to come round?"
Yeah, he knows that.
He's already done the interview. He's already done his notes, and that's be all and end all. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, as I've said before, I think a decision's made before this has even started, to be honest. So, you know, but yeah, maybe with Dennis I can sort of work something out, you know.
Yeah, I'll give Dennis a shout. I'll go and find the mail, see if we've got any mail today.
Yeah.
See if I've got a reply about your bill.
Yeah.
I'll let you know either way.
Right.
And then if I haven't, and then I'll email Tony Ripper and ask him what's going on.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll phone Dennis up at the same time and see if I can give you a quick ring sometime.
Okay.
Whether it'll be today, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
you know, because he's only just back from holiday, so whether he's got some stuff to catch up on, I don't know.
Well, I ain't going to be back at work anytime soon, put it that way.
Well, no, I'm thinking about that 5 days to reply to that later.
Oh, yeah. Do you know if there's any chance that the union could help me out on that 950 quid? Can they do it like a loan to me?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Because we did used to do union loans, didn't we?
They used to do. Yeah, they used to have a welfare fund. I don't know if they still have or not.
I mean, the point being that, you know, if I'm entitled to claim it back from the union anyway,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That would be a bit. That would just.
Well, the union do loans. There is a credit union place that do loans, but like an ordinary loan people.
Right. The trouble is, right now my finances are in such a mess here, and I can't get any more credit. That's why I wondered if the. But if the union can do the loan, because they should be reimbursing me anyway, shouldn't they? As part of the tribunal.
If they're taking the case on, they should reimburse you the $250 you paid or whatever it was you paid.
Yeah.
And then they should pay the rest anyway. If they're taking it on, they pay it.
Yeah. See, they haven't made a decision on whether they are going to.
Well, no, that's what I'm going to find out with the mail. See if we've got mail today.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll leave it with you, and I'll wait till you get back to me then. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And I'll get back to you either yay or nay, and then I'll have a word with Dennis at the same time. See if I can give you a ring. All right.
Cheers, then. Yeah. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Speak to you later. Bye.